We are live on the Bullpen Podcast. Welcome into tonight's show. It is Wednesday, November 9th. I'm your host, Chris Krogman at Shy Bears 1985, and I am joined by the main man, Adam Kunos at Kunos19. You can find the podcast on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, live every Wednesday, going to probably every other Wednesday as the off season comes in. Really, more announcements to come. So we are sponsored by Fanatics. Head on over to Fanatics for all of your 2022 Cheater Stros World Series Championship and Parade gear. The Houston Trash Stros won the 2022 World Series. As you all know. Adam, how are you tonight, sir?
I am doing well. As we record this, I'm sitting here down in Florida, just waiting for another hurricane to hit, currently seeing a hurricane warning. Hurricane Nicole is pretty much right off the east coast of Florida. Going to hit probably sometime overnight, be with us all day Thursday. So just another rainy, soggy day in Florida.
Do you guys have nice weather ever?
After a hurricane, we have beautiful weather where it's actually kind of nice. Like it drops into the 60s, maybe 50s at night. Other than that, the weather's shit.
It's hot, it's humid. When it's not hot and humid, it's probably like humid, wet, cold. Like you say, what did you say? Like it gets down to in the wintertime?
We've actually gone down to the 30s down here, and like we have our week of winter.
30s in Florida though feels like 10 everywhere else because it's so wet.
Yeah, it's a different type of cold down here just because of how much humid it is down here. So, but it's that 1 week of winter that we'll get sometime in January, maybe February if we're lucky. So, other than that, it's 89 degrees daily and it rains at 3 o'clock.
Are you going into meteorology after you graduate?
God, no.
God, no. Oh, good. So baseball season's over, heading into the off season. The Astros won their second title in franchise history, second title since 2017. Not really a whole lot to say about, not really surprised that the Astros pulled it off. They're a very talented team. Guys came up clutch in clutch situations. Even Altuve, who was kind of struggling through the first few games, like we talked about last week. Alvarez, who hadn't really homered since the first series of the playoffs. He contributed an absolute monster shot in the final game. So, what are your overall or high level takeaways, Adam?
I mean, again, not really surprised that the Astros kind of came away the victors of the World Series. I mean, I will give Philadelphia credit. They did kind of push Houston to kind of the limits in a couple of the games to where they were taxing the bullpen. Just kind of they made Altuve look like an average hitter for most of the series until he kind of finally got his groove going towards the end of the series. One thing I will say, though, is you have to give congrats finally to Dusty Baker, manager for over 25 years, finally gets his first World Series ring as a manager. I mean, managing with the Giants, Cubs, Reds, Nationals. Took each of those teams to the playoffs, got the closest with the Giants in 2002 with the 7-game series with the Angels. But he finally gets his World Series ring as a manager. So big congratulations to Dusty Baker. I know that's well-deserved when he spent some time in Chicago on the north side. So well-deserved in my opinion.
Yeah, I've always liked Dusty Baker. And some of these older managers, not only the Russo specifically, but even Dusty Baker to a degree, took some shit for kind of being too old to do it anymore. But he definitely proved that you can be a 70-plus-year-old man and manage a Major League Baseball team. So caps off to Dusty. Kudos to he and the Astros. We went through, what do we have? The first 3 games.
Yeah, we did games 1 through 3. Game 4 was just underway as we recorded last week, so we'll pick up with Game 4. Astros defeat the Phillies 5-0. Javier gets the win, improves to 2-0. Nola takes the loss, 2-2. Pretty much all of Houston's scoring came in the 5th inning. That's where kind of Houston took control of the games. The wheels kind of fell off for Philadelphia. Alvarez starts it off with a hit, being hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. Alex Bergman doubles, drives in Altuve and Pena. The Astros will tag on 2 more, take a 5-0 lead. But the biggest story was the Astros combined for a no-hitter in Game 4. So you had Javier with his 6 innings, Abreu with 1 inning, Montero with 1 inning, and Presley closing out with 1 inning as well. Combined 14 strikeouts, 3 walks, 0 hits. So Houston did a good job with pitching that year. So
if you're watching on YouTube, ask Adam what the fuck he's doing over there.
It's just a lot of craziness down here in Florida. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Christian Javier looked absolutely phenomenal on the mound for Game 4. Combined no-hitter is good anytime, special in the playoffs. 14 strikeouts and 3 walks, obviously 0 hits. Phenomenal game for Astros all around. So Game 5, Astros won 3-2. Verlander gets the win. Syndergaard gets the loss. Presley gets the save, his 5th of the postseason. Astros got 1 in the top of the 1st off of a Pena single. Schwarber then hit a solo shot to tie the game. Then Jeremy Pena again with a solo shot to give Houston a 2-1 lead. Verlander got his first win in World Series play. They pulled him rather quickly, though, correct? Like 5th, 6th inning, maybe a 6th.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that. But yeah, he was yanked pretty quickly because I know that was a tight game from start to finish. I'm pulling up right now. Yeah, Verlander only went 5 innings, so he was pulled around the 6th inning. He went 5 innings, 4 hits, gave up a run, 1 earned, walked 4, but struck out 6, and the only run he gave up was a solo shot to Kyle Schwarber. So, yeah, it was interesting that they pulled him earlier. I think they kind of learned from what happened with Game and his first start early in the series, where he kind of went out for a little too long, in my opinion. But I think they pulled him at the right time, and the bullpen for Houston again came through and was able to hold the Phillies to just 1 more run, while Presley came in and closed out the game for his 5th save of the series, or the postseason technically.
Yeah, it's funny with leaving him in too long or pulling him early or pulling him when you should. It seems to be a really tricky call in the postseason. I mean, I know managers have a much shorter leash on everybody, but it's almost a really big feeling at that point where your managerial experience is going to come into play. Because the first game, I think, like, he only went 3 innings, and that looks like on paper you're pulling him early, but just the flow of the game, it was almost like too late by the time they did pull him. It's hard to know when to pull the guy, and obviously every pitcher in baseball that's in that position is not going to want to come out. Hall of Famer like Verlander especially. So yeah, tough call. Good on Dusty to get him out of there before he fell apart again or whatever. But game 6, Framber Valdez got the win as the Astros closed out. Zach Wheeler was also pitching quite well, but couldn't hold up. Kyle Schwarber hit the first run of the game, solo shot in the top of the 6th. And then the bottom of the 6th turned into a giant shit show as Wheeler hit somebody in the arm, and he ended up on third after some shenanigans. And then they brought in whatever that huge left-hander is that Philly has. And he gave him an absolute monster shot to Jordan Alvarez in the bottom of the 6th, who, like I said, showed up big time in this game. And then Christian Vasquez drove in Bregman to put the Astros up 4-1, closing out the series. Alvarez puts his stamp on the series. World Series MVP. We already know who it was, but I mean, it was fairly obvious throughout the series that Jeremy Pena definitely was the star of both teams.
No, absolutely. I think Jeremy Pena definitely, from start to finish of the series, was the best player going forward. Obviously, he had a huge game going into with a solo home run to give Houston the eventual 2-1 lead. And again, Jordan Alvarez has tacked on another one. So, Chris, you want to know a little fun fact about World Series clinchers? This was the first clincher for the home team since the 2013 Red Sox. Before the Red Sox, what was the last home team to clinch a World Series?
It's probably the stupid White Sox in 05 or some shit.
Nope, they clinched on the road in Houston.
Well, I didn't know who. I know they swept, but I didn't know if they had home field advantage or not. I have no idea. 80. Go ahead.
The 2011 Cardinals were the last home team to clinch before the Red Sox. So from 2014 to technically 2021, you had all road teams clinching. So there's your little fun fact. Yeah,
fun. That is fun. I had a lot of fun learning that. That was awesome.
And this is Houston's first time that they get to clinch on their home field and not watch the opposing team clinch on their field. Because before they were 0-3.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
In clinchers, they watched the Sox in 05, Nationals in 19, the Braves last year, but now they finally get to celebrate the fans. And I like when the home team clinches in front of the fans, so you get to see the fans just enjoying the experience with the players. A little more difficult on the road because you'll get like just a small group of fans who are there, but I love seeing the home crowd just celebrating with the team as they're mobbing each other on the field, and just kind of seeing the fans celebrating in the stands.
Yeah.
Or banging trash cans in this case.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely good for the fans. I think, I don't think players really care if they clinch at home or on the road. For the Astros specifically, losing 3 at home, it would be, kind of serendipitous to win 1 on the road. So, but they did in 17 then, right?
In 17 they won at Dodger Stadium.
Man, it's still so weird to I still can't. I don't know if I can fully grasp that the Astros in the American League ever, in my lifetime. I don't know if I'll ever be able to talk about this. Wait, what? They clinched against their own division? It doesn't make sense. But
exactly,
whatever. Yeah, Dusty Baker, fantastic. Do you think Baker continues to coach, or do you think he'll hang it up?
No, they've actually announced that he has been extended, so he will be back next year for the Astros. He will be coming back for another season, so you have your defending champs with their manager at the start of next season in the dugout, so he'll be back for at least one more season. I know there was rumors going around saying that he would hang it up after this season and maybe a win just to kind of top off his managing career. But I guess they started contract negotiations shortly after the clincher, and I believe after the parade, they announced that he was going to be staying on.
When Alvarez hit that home run, like, you know, everybody in the dugout went ape shit, and Baker's just like,
yeah,
yay! Like, he just looked old man excited. You know,
it was old man. I mean,
he's old.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue that.
Yeah, he's old. He's old as dirt. Let's see how old is Dusty Baker.
He has to be in the 70s, I think.
Yeah, I think we looked this up once before. He's 73.
Yeah.
Man, if the Phillies would have won this series, like, I think Schwarber probably would have been the MVP. Harper didn't. Harper only had like one good game.
Oh no, Schwarber was probably your MVP if the Phillies had got this, because he had what 5 homers in the series alone.
I see. Yeah, probably. I can't recall exactly from the first few games, but he hit one in Game 5 and Game 6. He was pretty much their only scoring there for a minute. I think he hit one in that 7-0 game in Game 3.
Yeah, I know he had one. I think he had one Game 3, Game 5, and Game 6. He was kind of on a little bit of a streak going on until the end of the series.
Yeah, he's an absolute monster.
That he is. But in all honesty, congrats to the Houston Astros. Congrats to the fans of Houston. Go enjoy your title. Celebrate. Everyone knows that you will have an even bigger target on your back at the start of next year, as Atlanta did at the start of this season. The objective will be next year to dethrone the Astros.
You know what they should have done? They should have worn the fucking Space City jerseys.
That would have been dope. I would have loved that.
It'd be cool. Go see if you can find a City Connect fucking World Series jersey, because that would be awesome to rock. Get the patch, or just go make it yourself. Get yourself a World Series patch and then iron it onto a City Connect jersey from Houston. That
would save you definitely a couple $100.
That's a good point. You could do that. A patch would probably cost you like $2. You could actually buy like a Space City jersey. Just make yourself
There you go.
A really cheap option. Just like it would look like you got it from some third world country, but pretty much all of our stuff comes from third world countries. But that's beside the point. Anything else on the World Series, Adam?
No, I mean, I'll give congrats to Philadelphia. They had a good hell of a season this year. Never really saw them coming out of the playoffs, and then they kind of shocked everyone by coming back against St. Louis, getting past Atlanta, taking down San Diego. So congrats to Philadelphia on a good season. I know they got a very young, talented ball club, so definitely look to see them be competitive again in the next couple seasons.
Yeah, my dumbass should have hedged my bet, and at least I think DraftKings had like some sort of, add 100 points to any World Series option. I should have done that with the Astros and just hedged against everybody else, but I just didn't know how much to put down to make it worth it. So then we got into like the Phillies, and I probably should have done it, or at least looked at it after Game 3 when the Phillies took that lead, because they never saw another win. But I mean, I talked about the Phillies early in the season, and before they fired, or after, even before they fired Girardi, I said they had the talent to get there. But firing Girardi really was a really good move. I mean, it's very surprising to see pretty much an interim manager take a ball club all the way to the World Series, and that was impressive. So is that Charlie Man? What's his name? Charlie Manuel? Does that sound right? That doesn't.
No, he was back in 2008 when they won. I'll look up the manager right
Charlie
now.
Manuel. Thank God. Whoa, doesn't just have it on there. Thompson.
Yeah, Rob Thompson. Thompson. So Yeah, I think they inked him for a couple more years. So I think he will be back. He should be back next year after the run he gave Philadelphia. So, but yeah, good on them for a great season. I mean, you can't hate the season they had overall.
Yeah, for sure. So next big event in the major leagues of baseball will be the postseason awards. The Rookie of the Year winners will be announced on November 14th, so about 5 days from now, followed by Managers of the Year the day after. And then on the 16th, the Cy Young Award winners will be announced, followed by the MVP winners on November 17th. Uh, so we'll go with the Rookie of the Year finalists first, since that's the first announced award. Adam, Steve Kwan from Cleveland, Julio Rodriguez, and Adley Rutschman are probably your favorites. Who would you say out of those three is your odds-on favorite to win it? Kwan had a 200, pretty much a 300 average, 6 homers, 52 ribbies, stole 19 bases, and had a 773 OPS. Julio Rodriguez hit 284 with 28 homers, 75 RBIs, 25 stolen bases, and an 854 OPS. Rushman had a 254 batting average with 13 dongs, 42 ribeyes, 4 stolen bases from the catcher spot, and 807 OPS. And mind you, he missed a lot of time. Had a streak of a really bad hitting streak for a while, but then went on an absolute tear and hit like 450 for a month. So to get himself back up to 254, who you got for the AL, Roy?
I'm going Julio Rodriguez from Seattle. I mean, you can't argue the season he had, the show he put on the home run derby, just what he did for Seattle this year, just kind of helping that team get to the playoffs, get the wild card, get past Toronto. Then kind of again they fell to the eventual chance, but give me Julio Rodriguez as my favorite to win American League Rookie of the Year.
I don't think the home run derby should have anything to do with it, but it probably will. But I still think he walks away with it anyway. I am also on the Julio bandwagon. Who is up for the National League Rookie of the Year?
All right, you got Brendan Donovan from St. Louis, 281 average, 5 home runs, 45 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 773 OPS. You got Michael Harris from Atlanta, 297 average, 19 home runs, 64 RBIs, 20 stolen bases, 853 OPS. And then you have Spencer Strider, pitcher for Atlanta, 11-5 with a 2.67 ERA. Pitched 131 innings, 202 strikeouts, had a .99 WHIP, so definitely good on the WHIP point. I mean, all in my opinion, good candidates. I'll lean a little more towards Michael Harris as your Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to either of the Atlanta guys. Man, that's tough. Harris being an everyday player makes such a difference, but Strider was electric at times and looked like a savvy veteran and top of the line starter a good portion of the year. So I think it's going to be one of those two guys. I also lean Harris, but I'll pick Strider just for contrarian sake. As far as manager of the year, Terry Francona from the American League, Cleveland Guardians. Whoa, that was close. Won the AL Central, won 92 and 70. Brandon Hyde from Baltimore finished with the first winning season in Baltimore since 2016 at 83 and 79. And Scott Servais from Seattle made the playoffs for the first time since 2001, winning 90 games, losing 72. I got to go Francona.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Francona had a good season with the Guardians. I mean, they were 10% odds.
You're
to win
going
the AL
Surveillance.
Central.
Everybody knows how
Oh,
much you're on Seattle's.
I'm definitely going with Surveillance. Absolutely, I'm going to take Surveillance and I say it's just because the slow start that team got off to at the beginning of the year, where we didn't look like they were going to actually do much, and then the hot streak they got on during the middle of the season, and the way they finished up strong. I'm going Scott Surveillance. Absolutely, I'm going him for the Manager of the Year award.
I think you voted for him last year.
Did I?
No, I mean last year you voted for him to win this year because you've been talking about Seattle making the playoffs for the first time since 2001, probably since 2002.
Probably, yeah. They should. Yeah, I'm not going to argue that.
I didn't know you were a closet Mariners fan, but that's okay. National League Manager of the Year, you got Mr. Dave Roberts in LA. Won 111 wins, was the most in the majors. Only lost 51. Mr. Buck Showalter from the Mets, first playoff appearance since 16. Won 101 games, lost 61. And then Brian Snitker from Atlanta won their fifth straight NL East title with the same record, 101 and 61. This is going to be a good one. It's I always try to look at who did less with more, and I mean I don't know what Atlanta's payroll looks like, but they had a lot of young folks down there. That they did re-sign throughout the year, or extend throughout the year, I should say. Roberts just has an all-star lineup, so good for you for winning 111 games, but you got bounced so quick in the playoffs. And I know that stuff's not really supposed to matter, but I don't know. So I think it comes down to Showalter and Snitker. I mean, obviously, I'm going with Showalter just because he's the Mets manager, and I would like to see him win. But I could see it easily going to the Braves manager.
Yeah, I'm completely on board with you. I mean, good for Roberts. Dodgers payroll, all-star lineup from start to finish, 111 wins. You pretty much had control of the NL West since day one. Sniker and Showalter. I'm going Buck Showalter. I think that he did more with the Mets this year. I mean, granted, they were your odds-on favorite to win the NL East at the beginning of the year. They still got the top wild card. But yeah, I'll go Showalter, NL Manager of the Year.
Buckius Showalterius. I don't know. Buck has a longer name. I don't know where Buck comes from. Anyway, cool. So as far as the Cy Young Award goes, in the American League, you have Justin Verlander, 18-4 with a 1.75 ERA, pitched 175 innings, had 185 strikeouts. Alek Manoah from the Blue Jays, 16-7, 2.24 ERA, 196 innings, pitched 180 strikeouts, and a .99 WHIP. Verlander had a .83 WHIP for those keeping track at home. And Adam also throws in Dylan Cease because he loves the White Sox. He thinks he has a chance to win this, but he went 14-8, 2.20 ERA, 184 innings pitched, 227 strikeouts, and a 1.11 WHIP. If he did not kind of slow down a little bit at the end of the year, I think you have a good argument. And if the White Sox had made the playoffs, I think you have a good argument. But it's interesting to me when we talked about this mid-season, there was, the Yankees pitchers with Nestor, who he didn't necessarily fall apart, but he wasn't as dominant in the second half. Garrett Cole was mediocre. Yeah.
Yeah,
Verlander's walking away with this.
Yeah, I think you have to go Verlander just with the season he had. I mean, and look at the record: 18-4, 1.75 ERA. Again, he did miss some time at the beginning of the season, and I agree. If Dylan Cease didn't have a slow or didn't have a up and down second half, if he had a little more of a competitive second half, and if the White Sox were a little more competitive down the second half, I think he would make an argument for winning it. But you have to go Verlander. So you have to go Verlander, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. National League Cy Young, Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins, 14-9, 2.28 ERA, 228 innings pitched, 207 strikeouts, 0.98 WHIP. Max Fried from Atlanta, 14-7, 248 ERA, 185 innings pitched, 170 strikeouts, 1.01 WHIP. Julio Urias, 17-7, 2.16 ERA, 175 innings pitched, 166 strikeouts, and a .96 WHIP. Wasn't there a 20-game winner in Atlanta? Why can't I think of his freaking name right now?
Oh, there was a 20-game winner in Atlanta. You are absolutely correct.
Kyle Wright.
Kyle, I believe it was Kyle Wright. Let me look that up for you real quick.
I still think it's Alcantara. I've thought it's Alcantara all year. I want to see Alcantara win because it's more fun to see people win on shitty teams. Like when what's his name? The knuckleballer for the Mets that won it.
Oh, R.A. Dickey.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Kyle Wright went 21-5. ERA was a 3.19, 180 pitches, 180 innings pitched, 174 strikeouts, 1.16 WHIP. So
definitely not the best numbers, not the same numbers as the other guys, but
no. But I mean, 20-game winner. I mean, hats off to him for winning 21 games this season. That is not the easiest thing to do. As far as your three finalists go, I think Julio Reyes will end up walking away with this just with his .96 WHIP and just being part of that dominant Dodgers team this year.
I gotta wonder how many innings more Alcantara pitched than like anybody else.
Let's look that up real quick. So Alcantara pitched 228.2 innings. The next highest was Lopez at 180 innings.
No, Aaron Nola pitched 205.
Are you talking about via Miami or just via everyone?
No, I just meant in general.
Oh, yeah. Nola had 205. Mikolas had 202, and Burns had 202. Kelly had 200. So those were your five pitchers who had at least 200 plus innings of pitching this season.
Yeah, and on the American League, it was Framber Valdez, Garrett Cole, and Shane Bieber over 200. I wonder if Valdez could get in the conversation in the American League. Probably not. I mean, Verlander's. I don't know. So Framber Valdez went 17-6 with a 2.82, 200 innings pitched, 194 strikeouts, and a 1.16 WHIP. He's probably not got enough, but he still had a pretty nice year. Lots of good candidates this year, but I still think Verlander wins it in the American League and Alcantara in the National League. So you got Julio Urias, or Urias, or however you say that.
Yeah, Julio Reyes is for Dodgers. I think he'll end up walking with the NL Cy Young this year, in my opinion. But I mean, Alcantara will be a good pick too. So I'm not gonna argue if he ends up walking with it either.
For sure. Who is the front runners for the AL MVP, Adam?
So your AL MVP candidates, obviously you start with Yordan Alvarez from Houston, 306 average, 37 home runs, 97 RBIs, 1.109 OPS. Aaron Judge, you know his story, 311 average, 62 home runs, 131 RBIs, 1.11 OPS. And then Shohei Ohtani, went 273, 34 home runs, 95 RBIs, 895 OPS. On the flip side, as a pitcher, went 15-9, 233 ERA, 166 innings pitched, and 219 strikeouts. You have to go Aaron Judge. There's no way he hit 62 home runs in a single season and not walk away with the MVP.
God dang Ohtani, man. That's just still fucking bananas, dude.
Oh, the fact that he can win 15 games, hit 30-plus homers, and make it look
and
easy.
Strike out like 220 batters in 166 innings is just nuts, dude.
It's absolutely crazy that he's had 2 seasons of this consistency as a dual player, as a DH/pitcher.
I mean, he pitched 20 less innings than Dylan Cease and has 8 less strikeouts. He pitched 30 less innings than Manoah and has 40 more strikeouts. And he pitched 10 less innings than Verlander and has 35 more strikeouts. That's just crazy, dude. Yeah, I still think it's Aaron Judge, even after all that. I agree. Historical season for Judge. He hit home runs. He also hit for average. The Yankees won a lot when he homered, so that makes you valuable. The Angels sucked. It didn't matter how good Ohtani was; they just didn't win. So you can't be most valuable player on a just absolutely dirt poor team. I mean, I guess you can, but
I mean, yeah.
Jokic wins it. Jokic wins it every year in the NBA, and the Nuggets are not good, but without him, they are very, very bad. Exactly. I mean, they're good. They're just not. They just hadn't been dominant. And how about the National League Most Valuable Player Award, Adam?
All right, so we're gonna start with Paul Goldschmidt, 317 average, 35 home runs, 115 RBIs, 7 stolen bases. Doesn't really matter. 982 OPS. Nolan Arenado, his counterpart in St. Louis, 293, 30 home runs, 103 RBIs. 891 OPS, and then Manny Machado, San Diego, 298 average, 32 home runs, 102 RBIs, 897 OPS. I'm leaning for Goldschmidt in this one. I like Goldschmidt. I've loved him since he came up with Arizona in 2011. Got to see him play a couple times. I like his consistency that he has every year. I had to lean Goldschmidt as your NL MVP. He finally gets his NL MVP this year.
Manny Machado carried the Padres, though. Like, the only reason they were in the playoffs is because of Machado.
Yeah.
But it's still probably Paul Goldschmidt. I would agree with that. Yeah, so I think a good representation across the board for all of the awards. Do Gold Glove and like Silver Slugger and all that stuff, does that get announced before or after this stuff? Do you know, Adam?
Not top of my head. I don't know when those awards get announced. I'm sure we'll hear when they will be announced to your show. I know the Hank Aaron Award was announced today as well. Paul Goldschmidt for St. Louis and Aaron Judge are your recipients for the 2022 Hank Aaron Award via each league. So congrats to them on a incredible season, and the Hank Aaron Award, well deserved in my opinion.
Agreed. They are phenomenal. So as we head into the off season, like free agency essentially starts already, right? I mean, there's no real off season or waiting period. Is that correct? I mean, I think guys can get people can get extended. Edwin Diaz signed a big extension with the Mets, 5 years, $102 million. So a $20 million closer. He earned every penny of that to be the top closer in baseball, top paid closer in baseball. He was, one of the best this year. I know the Dodgers didn't announce people were getting. They just announced that they weren't re-signing a bunch of their free agents, including Trey Turner. So He'll be on the free agent market. That'll be interesting. And then I think Carlos Correa opted out.
Yeah, he opted out to just 1 year in Minnesota, so he's hitting the market. Jose Abreu is not. It's going to be on the free agent market for the first time. He is not expected to resign with the White Sox. I know the White Sox picked up the option for Tim Anderson, declined for Josh Harrison. So, and then AJ Pollock declined his club option, so he will be hitting the free agent market. And then we've already had a trade, believe it or not. The Rangers trade for Oda Rizzi from Atlanta and pick up Allred for Rangers. So, Rangers.
Why? Like,
it has to be salary dump in my opinion. And the only reason I can think for that trade is salary dump for Atlanta.
Like, just cut Jake Oda. Oh man, there's got to be a nickname there that's funny, like Oda Rizzi. Like, he smells bad.
Yeah,
but man, that guy's, I don't get it. I mean, you think he was decent in Houston for a minute, but he's not good now. I just don't understand. But that's interesting. I did not know that trade had happened. One other free agent that I noticed that I didn't know was a free agent was what's his name? His last name's Perez, the pitcher from the Rangers. Is it Martin Perez?
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Let me see if I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, Martin Perez from. Nope, that ain't it. Yep. Yeah, he's a free agent. I think that's an interesting starting pitcher on the market. I think Verlander's on the market as well. So there's going to be some interesting things coming up in the offseason. Stay tuned to the Bullpen Podcast. On a personal note, I will be stepping down from the Bullpen Podcast. I've had some personal life events that are just taking up more time than I have. So, unfortunately, I will be leaving the Bullpen Podcast in the very capable hands of Adam Kunos. He will continue on solo cast for a little while, right, Adam, until you find somebody else if you want to, or
yeah. So the podcast will take a little bit of a breather here. My wife and I will be flying out to Europe next week for vacation, so we will be not recording an episode for probably maybe December. We may hold off until next year, just with getting back into the swing of things. But I would like to thank Chris for the last 2 seasons of co-hosting this podcast. It's been an incredible run from starting this podcast. When we first started this podcast, I think we spent, I don't know, like we were texting, calling every day, just trying to get ideas of what we're going to do. And then once we got this thing up and running, it's just been an absolute fun journey.
Yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun talking baseball with you every week, Adam. And I haven't been this into baseball for a good portion of my life. I wanted to get into podcasting and just talk sports and talk baseball for a while. And when this opportunity presented itself, it was fun to get to know you, get to know your incredible baseball mind. No, I'm not fucking around when I say it every week that you're one of the smartest baseball guys I've ever met. So keep up the good work. I'll definitely be tuning into you on a regular basis to see what's going on, and maybe I'll pop in from time to time if my life allows it. But other than that, man, it has been a fun run. Too bad the Mets or White Sox couldn't win in the last couple of years. That would have been really fucking fun. But
that would have been an absolute blast.
They were both good. I mean, last year the White Sox were really good. This year the Mets, won 100 games, which has not happened for a long ass time. So, yeah, man, it's been good. It's been fun. Looking forward to watching what you do with this, and take care.
Absolutely. And again, you're more than welcome to hop on any time. I wish you the best of luck on your endeavors going forward, and we'll definitely reconnect. Definitely.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy talking baseball for you all, with you all this season when you interacted with us. So Take care until the next show. Enjoy.
Have a good night, everyone.